On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we're talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the Season 4 premiere, Valles Marineris, right after these words from a mystery dynamic ad from millions of years ago.
Sounds like a continent I want to dip a breadstick in.
What?
Valles Marineris. I don't know.
Oh, that's pretty good. I was going to ask you to put an echo on that millions of years ago, I said, but no, you fucking ruined it.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where we talk about all the Star Trek podcasts. My name is Matthew, TV shows and stuff. It's been a while. My name is Matthew Carroll.
It's been a while. I'm David C. Robertson.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. Hey.
So Strange New Worlds is back. It was my birthday this weekend, and we are leaving for the lake tomorrow, and my day is kind of crazy getting everything done. So we're kind of having to keep today's first episode tight, but I wanted to get on and do it because I didn't want to wait days like often happens when I'm in such a hurry. So yeah. I'm glad we could hop on and do this instead of waiting. But excited to talk about it. And we'll be covering it all season. So if you're a fan of Strange New Worlds, finding this podcast, please hit that subscribe. What'd you think of Valles Marineris?
I thought it was funny that like they took 15 or so minutes to get to the opening credits, which were fun. There was one specific clip where it looked like the Enterprise was flying over a black and white world that looked very much like Sky Captain in the World Tomorrow. So I was like, what is that about?
That's fun.
But they front loaded all the really annoying stuff.
They did, and I don't know how. There was a lot of annoying stuff. I am not normally that annoyed by Palia. I was so annoyed by her this episode. Yeah, you're often annoyed by her. I normally like, she's fine. It's fine. But her being like, oh no, we're on the ship. I don't like this. Like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. Normally when she does that, it's in like a conversation. I don't know. It just felt like really obtrusive in a way that normally doesn't bother me, but for whatever reason, it really bothered me this episode. And a lot of the little bitty sort of annoyances of Strange New Worlds really hit me this episode in a way that I was like, come on. I was so excited for new Strange New Worlds because I love when this show hits on all cylinders. And we talked a lot about it last season. A lot of stuff was ruined by the writer's strike and stuff. And I was hoping the season would be like really, really honed in. This episode was not honed in. It was maybe one of the worst written episodes in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, I do not like this episode. Well,
for me,
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
For me, the first 15 minutes, I was pissed because I'm like, I'm fine with like horses and shit. That's great. Like, Pike has a history of liking horses from fucking the Cage and shit.
I love a spaceship captain and a duster, man. I love a spaceship captain and a duster.
We both do. But there's like they mentioned that it's been 6 months of them just going on like something like 16 different Strange New Worlds. And I'm like, all we've been doing is complaining that we don't see them go to Strange New Worlds, which is the title of the fucking show. And then in between seasons, they go to 16 Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, that's funny. But I thought it was just like good, like, hey, by the way, there'll be comic book series about the in between this season.
Yeah, there are, I guess. But.
I'm sure there are. They're allowing a lot of room for other stories and books and things to be told about this crew. But
even in between the annoying parts of the first 15 minutes where like we have Robert April who wants him to be Commodore and just like the way Anson Mount is playing it like oh, he knows what it means to become Commodore. Like that's another step closer to his future.
Yeah.
But then we get to like, how does this make sense? Scotty acts like every time I steer the ship, it makes his job harder. So he added endless beeping to literally make my job harder. Am I supposed to be like, is this supposed to be like an in-universe explanation to why the TEOS version of the ship beeps more?
That might be. I thought that too, but actually later in the episode we see what she's talking about when she's turning into the star or whatever. It's not a star, the storm. She says she said it says exceeding recommendations or something like that. Mm-hmm. And basically he has added a bunch of, like, when she does things that mess his engines up, he's putting warnings on her console that say, like, hey, you're screwing up my engines. And and so that's what she's talking about. But it was, it's Ortega's being Ortega's.
But I feel like it also does, like, I think it's doing both, but also it feels like they might be kind of setting up a possible romance between Scott and Erica a little bit.
For some reason, the last scene felt that way a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was going to turn to like, maybe there's a little bit of tension there that could be cut with a little romance. Mm-hmm. Scotty deserves a little romance. It's just been, I can't think of a good romance story Scotty's ever gotten.
Well, he had kind of started to have one, and then he got possessed by Jack the Ripper and murdered her in an alley.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
That's Wolf in the Fold.
Forgot about
TOS.
that one, yeah. I remember the episode when you mentioned it, but yeah, that's rough. Yeah,
poor bastard.
And he wakes up in blood. Why does this always happen?
But yeah, absolutely. The most annoying part of this entire show for me was them talking about the Category 10 interstellar squall, and Talia says, I've seen one a long time ago, but not from this close. I think it was in a phone box at the time.
Oh, I think it was in a phone box at the time, yeah.
Looks around at everybody like, Doctor Who.
Yeah, exactly. Which, like, I love the idea that they could do a Doctor Who crossover, but the more they mention it,
I hate it.
The more it's stupid. The more that it's. I mean, they could easily be like he hopped over from a different universe. It would be amazing to see a Doctor Who Star Trek crossover. That'd be so much fun. I'm happy with multiverse shenanigans like that.
Sure, but this is the second time she's mentioned doing it.
Right, and there was
they showed
this box.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they're laying the groundwork too much. They should
especially since Doctor Who is dead.
I don't know. Is that in that episode? They think he's dead. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
or
the
in
franchise.
Doctor Who.
The franchise is dead right now.
I heard they're coming back. I keep hearing different things.
No, Russell T Davies stepped away, and
right.
The BBC put the show out to tender, and we'll see. But
I heard that, and then I heard that there was plans that were emerging, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not following it closely. I haven't really watched the last couple seasons. Mm-hmm. I watched the first Shooty Gatwa season, and that's the last thing I've seen.
Yeah,
which I guess there's only one I've missed or something. But anyway, getting back to this show because we are tight on time today.
Yes,
we don't have time to talk about too much Doctor Who, but they made us.
Sadly,
I love Doctor Who and I would love it, but it's just not. It's just too many. It's just too many little references. And I get that this show has more of a vibe like Doctor Who, and so it feels like maybe they should do something with it, but it just feels no good. Feels no good. I felt about this episode for the first long amount of this episode. I felt like I felt last season with I guess I feel a lot like that. The zombie episode, where it feels like this has been something on their board for a while. We should do a dinosaur episode.
Yeah,
and it ends up being a very interesting time travel episode. But the most interesting parts of it all kind of happen in Pike's head. To me, like Star Trek is all about the moral questions. It's all about posing something very interesting and like having it out, actually discussing the thing. Like, do we do this? They have this incredible trolley problem in front of them where they're not sure. We might be putting our own future at risk, or we might be destroying our future. We don't know which way it goes, and there's no real way to know. And Pike just like literally is like, we're going to stop that thing because it's the right thing to do, and this is what Federation does. We're not going to let our technology destroy a world. You know what? Never mind. Like, I'm going to unilaterally make the call on a hunch and not stick to my values, not stick to protocol, not stick to the prime directive, not stick to any of that because I have this hunch that this is how it's supposed to go. He didn't know this is how it's supposed to go. He just had this second of a hunch, and it felt like I knew as soon as they found out there was a fifth planet with insects, I was like, oh, that one's going to have to get destroyed. But they didn't have that conversation. It's like they didn't think about that till it's like a moment before the explosion happens and Pike decides to let it go. It felt irresponsible, and like he aided in a genocide of this entire planet.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. I feel like the writers and the producers were going for, they wanted their Kirk stops McCoy from saving Edith Keeler moment.
Sure.
But they were not willing to fucking earn it. They wanted to cram in a bunch of stupid bullshit with Palia. There were other character moments they could have had, conversations with Cassell that they could have had
100%.
That would have fleshed that out.
If this hadn't been them being like, hey, let's do a dinosaur episode, this is the episode where Pike commits genocide in like hopes that it might mean that the human race is going to exist one day. Like, it's not a sure thing. It's very like, he doesn't commit genocide. He allows it to happen. And like, that is such a huge decision and a morally weighty problem. And for them to literally say, he says it, so don't think about it too hard. And it's like, no, this is Star Trek. You think about it hard. You need to live with the weight of this decision forever. You destroyed a world. And like, literally then to cut to like, hey, but weren't the dinosaurs pretty? Like, that is so antithetical to everything I believe about what Star Trek is. Yeah. It's like they have all the little elements of a great episode in here. And this moral decision that was like laid out for them to have all the great, like meaty, tortured conversations and interesting things that I love, like an Edith Keeler episode. And then they did this. It's just like they're jangling dinosaur keys in front of us so we don't look at the moral dilemma. And like, I'm just, because they're scared to have a dark tone. Their best episodes have a dark tone, and they wanted it to be a fun premiere with dinosaurs instead of making it like a really interesting episode. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like it was always meant to happen this way, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And they also like, they tried to have their cake and eat it too, because they also had like Pike sitting, and that was probably, I think, the best part of the episode was Pike sitting with M'Benga having this conversation, and M'Benga saying like, you know, you more than anyone I know have thought about the past and the future, and you know, we got to live. Most of us have to live in the now, and that was a theme that was echoed from Cassell, who said, "We live now, not in the future."
Yeah,
when she was justifying her own actions,
100%,
which was a great theme and a great sentiment for me personally, and kind of hit me on an emotional level. Like, I had sort of a health concern here a little while ago, and my dad passed away at the same time, and I've been thinking a lot about the future and sort of having a lot of anxiety about it. So it was, that part was kind of nice to me, and Pike's story, knowing his future, resonates with me a lot, and I liked that it came back here. And I liked a lot of what they were trying to do. They just didn't give it room to breathe, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it really felt like they just had really interesting ideas, and then they covered it in dinosaur sauce to be like, they covered it in dinosaur nuggies to try to like choke it down so that people would watch the episode or something. And I'm like, I don't need that. I feel like this really undercuts everything you're doing, and you're too scared to have like serious conversations, and maybe you should be, because a lot of the dialogue in this episode was like kind of trash.
I really liked the bit where Cassell says, "The way you said alone," the translated to widower.
That was
for
wonderful.
Me. That was great.
That was wonderful. Oh yeah, I totally agree. That's the thing. It feels like two separate episodes. It really does. I like everything with Cassell. I like all of the plot points they introduced for this time travel, destruction of Planet 5 or whatever. But everything with the dinosaurs and everything with the side characters trying to be quippy and funny and like bicker, and it all felt like it was just like a distraction that made the tone really, really hard to balance. Very, very Starship Troopers, by the way. Like the
somewhat
an insect world that sent like a basically like just like Starship Troopers, whatever they did with it was like the asteroid that crashed and destroyed Buenos Aires. They destroyed Buenos Aires.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure they didn't actually do that. I think the part of that was that the humans did it to.
Yeah.
So this reminded me a whole lot of Planet of Titans, which was a Star Trek movie they started to develop in 1976. And they got as far as like a treatment in a script. But basically the idea was that like Kirk gets hit by an electromagnetic wave and steals a shuttle and disappears for 3 years. And then the Enterprise comes back with a new captain and they're trying to find, I guess, where he might have disappeared to or whatever. And they instead find a hidden planet that they decide is the mythical planet of the Titans. And then that planet is about to be sucked into a black hole, and they wind up getting sucked into the black hole with that planet. And they emerge, the Enterprise emerges in orbit of Earth during the Paleolithic era, and they wind up teaching man to make fire. And they realize Kirk is Prometheus, and they are themselves the Titans of myth.
Oh,
so it kind of reminded me of that a lot.
100%. Yeah, that's a really good call. That's a strong connection there. Like I said, I think this episode had a lot of fun. Here's the thing. I know I've complained about the dinosaur bits. The dinosaur bits also felt super underserved. Like that plot line felt like it had nothing going, nothing at all. When they were done and she like punched the raptor or whatever, and then they got on the ship, I was like, wait, are they done with the dinosaurs? Was that it? And then they bring it back for like the last shot, which was like, I guess them trying to be like, no, we did more than just the little bit you saw. But like, it felt so rushed. So like, if you're gonna do a fun, the Enterprise goes back and fights dinosaurs thing, like invest in that. It just like, as much as I prefer the other episode that is in this episode, but like I prefer the other plot. But like, even the B plot dinosaur thing feels completely unexplored, and that really frustrated me.
Her punching the dinosaur but not feeling her broken hand ties in to her overall character arc, something that they started back last season. But also, like, so I think so does the fact that she's still fucking around with Spock. And it seems like they are both like experiencing some sort of, because you know, like the Vulcan blood, you know, like that passion. I think they might be igniting something in each other.
Oh, interesting.
Because of everything that Spock holds in and everything that she holds in, everything that she regresses.
Yeah,
I don't know. It might be something.
I see that. I see that. They definitely seem like there's a little bit more going on this season. Last season there was talk of like, we're just having fun, we're nothing real. Like there's nothing big. But when she gets off the ship and they're flirting in the transporter bay, they definitely seem to be like, I don't know, there's something a little more fun going on. They're liking each other a little bit, and definitely that is the most interesting thing about her hand thing. But that's not for this episode. That's a sprinkle to tell us where we're going with La'an, and like tell us that she's going to get her augment powers, and now we're going to have a struggle of like, who am I? Am I myself with these powers, or do these powers corrupt me, and all that stuff? And that's going to be fun. I'm interested in that. That's cool.
Yeah. So when they got their initial, like, there's a signal coming from inside of the bloody-doo, I was like, oh, it's them.
Yeah.
And then later Pike says, send out a mayday. And I was like, it's their own mayday. Blah, blah, blah. I literally wrote, fun time twist, 65 million years ago, does the Enterprise cause the Valles Marineris? And they didn't, but I was pretty close.
Yeah, that's great.
They did cause the extinction of the dinosaurs.
Yeah, wait, they did, but it did cause the crater.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
well, they didn't cause the crater on Mars, which is the
destruction of the fifth planet. Oh no, right. It caused the crater on Earth.
Right. It killed the dinosaurs, but the bugs had already caused that crater on Mars.
Well, and they said, did she destroy her own world? And they said they didn't know, which I thought was weird. I was like, I thought they should have just gone there. If they're going to say, like, you did this, you created this genocide, and then it's visited back on your own world. Like, the destruction of that planet caused Mars to go red or whatever. Like, that would have been a powerful message, I think.
Yeah. Well, they did. It did say that.
No, they said we don't know. She said, did she cause the destruction of her own world? And she said, they're like, we don't know. Like, you saw what happened on Earth. You saw the thing hit.
Yeah.
Or Spock did the calculations.
It shifted everything in the solar system and made Mars go dead. But then Mbenga says that their DNA is present in a ton of other species. I was certain they were going to it was going to be revealed that they moved to Vulcan.
Oh, interesting.
And that they were ancient Vulcans. And it would make sense because they're a warlike species.
Yeah.
Which is what the Vulcans were initially.
Sure. I mean, I will say, so this is, I am so torn on this episode because everything, when they're trying to talk to Captain Cassell and they're talking to her about, like, you know, how they can communicate with the bugs and, like, teach her, or, like, we may not be able to give you weapons, but we can give you something to stop this war. And then they take Uhura down and they just start talking about how they can communicate with these bugs. I was like, that's amazing. That's so cool. I love, it's just like, there's a line in Starfleet Academy that I really loved. There was a moment in Starfleet Academy in the last episode where they use the science of the thing to unwind the court case. Do you remember talking about? I don't want to spoil it or whatever. But, like, for people who might not have watched that yet. By the way, if you're just joining us back for Strange New Worlds, go watch that show. People talked it down, but, like, Starfleet Academy was great. I think Starfleet Academy was like one of my favorite seasons of Star Trek in a long time. I love it. I really love it.
It's not perfect, but I really enjoyed it, and they're coming out with another season. So even though everything is canceled, we've still got some to go. So
Yep. So I just want to mention that because I know a lot of people got it. It was so bad-mouthed online that, like, a lot of people didn't watch it, and we might have people coming back to hear our podcast about this and not have seen that.
Right.
So check it out if you haven't. It's great. But there's a line in that I love, and it's like, it's in the middle of the court case, and there's just a little bit of science, and it's like, that's what Starfleet's about, and that's how they win, you know, the science. Yeah. And there's a moment in this where they're deciding to turn into the blast at the end, and Captain Pike, who's made his brash decision without discussing it with anyone, and I understand it was a game time decision. He had a realization and he went with it. It was a hunch, as he tells April.
It's a pretty good hunch, though. It's like there's not a fifth world, you know?
But there's also 65 million years for that to change.
Yep.
That's the thing. There's 65 million years. It doesn't mean it happened. It doesn't mean it was you. It doesn't mean it was Federation technology. It doesn't mean it could have been natural occurrences. That planet could have gone any time in there. And they do say that that it's the asteroid belt, which makes sense. It's right there. Like, and that makes sense. But, like, we kind of always there's been this, that's actually a theory that there was a planet there that was destroyed and it became the asteroid belt or whatever. But, like, I just found his hunch, without discussing it with anyone, breaking so many rules, and, like, not just rules, but, like, morality. Like, he's going to let millions die, thinking it might save trillions, but it's like the calculus is hard, and it is a hard decision. But to me, that is where Star Trek thrives, when you have that decision and you actually have to make it, not just like you have to talk to a bunch of people. You have to have people stand up to you and say, no, you can't do this. It doesn't matter. We're here now. Like, that whole now versus then, the future. Like, you can't make this decision based on the future. You have to make it based on the now. And right now, you are looking at millions of lives you're about to destroy. Like, you have to make that decision. That's what you are doing. You are making a decision to let this genocide happen, and, like, that's what we should have gotten. And instead we got dinosaurs and, like, just filling the episode in runtime.
I feel like
in that moment, my point was, in that moment, he turns into the thing, and Captain Pike, who's making this rash decision a second ago, and that's the kind of captain he is, I guess. He looks over to Spock and says, Spock, if you have any calculations now, if you have any of your calculations, now's the time. And it's like, Spock isn't the only one on the ship who cares about science. You know what I mean? Like, it felt almost like he was like, if you have any of your silly science to do, let me know, because I'm going to make the rash decisions and be the cowboy. Like, it felt such a misunderstanding of Star Trek to me, because that's like the stereotype of Star Trek, that like Kirk's the cowboy and Spock's the scientist. No, Kirk is the guy, he's the super ego. He's the one deciding between when it's right to follow a hunch and when it's right to like follow the science, and when it's right to bluff and when it's right to, you know, he's making decisions, but he does it with all of his crew feeding him information. And it just felt, to me, that line felt like, if you got any science to tell me now, I guess. I don't know.
I think, you know, not the show isn't TOS, but I do feel like, you know, when he was like, Spock, if you have any of the science, bullshit. See, to me, like, when they were saying we live now, not in the future, and that's been like, that was the theme of the episode. Pike should be like adamant that like we have to make decisions for now, and he should have been adamant that they saved this planet, right?
Yeah.
And then we should have got, if it had been like TOS, a good episode, like a Gene L. Coon fucking episode of TOS, we would have got a shot of Spock, eyebrow raised, turns to his console, looks around and goes, stop, don't do it.
Yeah.
And he's done the calculations, he's run a simulation, that planet is supposed to be destroyed because that's what shifts everything in the solar system. That's what causes the asteroid on Earth. Like, he could simulate all of that shit.
Yes. That would have been cool. That would have been cool, but to me, that's a little too lets them off the hook of the moral decision.
It does.
What I would like to have seen, here's how I would have liked to see this episode end. They're all going to save this planet. They all know it might destroy their future. They realize it might destroy their future, but it's the right thing to do. But someone on the crew defects and lets it happen.
Yeah.
And then they have to live with the guilt of it, but they all still get to be the savior of their entire species. And it's like the dark, and then they get fucking court-martialed. And then like you go back to the normal time, it's like he committed a genocide, but he also saved our timeline. Like, what do we do with that? What do we do? Like, were we all too cowardly to do the hard thing? Or was he, like, now we know he's proven right, and we have to live with that, but also, you know what I mean? Like, or freaking court-martial Pike for what he did. Like, let there be, I'm so tired of, like, it worked out, so we won't have consequences on this one. Like, that happens so many episodes where someone does something against Federation, whatever, and then it's like, but it worked out. And I'm like, no. Like, if you think the right thing to do is go against protocol, you should be willing to go to jail for it. You know what I mean? Like, I did the right thing. I saved the timeline. I'm willing to go to jail for that.
But that's the whole thing of being a captain, is like there are often no-win scenarios.
Sure.
Like, you have to make the tough decisions. So
100%. And like, again, if it's going to be him to make the call, if it's going to be anyone to make the call, I just wanted them to have a conversation about it. Like, I knew what was going on. I knew what we were watching. Why didn't they, before he like suddenly went, oh, well, we got to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Have just a quick bit where, like, Pike is talking to April and is like, so am I court-martialed? Is this what we're going to do? And he's like, Chris, I'll tell you the truth. I killed a spider in my quarters this afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
He was a mild inconvenience at best. But he was right underneath my keyboard, and there are more amiable behaviors for a spider.
There was a meme going around that said, you don't put spiders outside. Indoor spiders can't live outside. And then it was like, that sounds like some spider propaganda to me.
Propaganda written by a spider.
It's good.
But
good stuff.
I think it was deeply flawed episode, but it was also kind of a fun episode and had some of the spirit that I was looking for.
Yes, I agree with you completely.
It's tough. It's just tough.
It is tough. It is so tough. It's like, I feel like I am watching my Star Trek, and this may be what I'm watching, and it may be that this is just, maybe this version of Star Trek is not as much for me as I want it to be. And not that it isn't for me, not that it's 100% not for me, but maybe it's like they're trying to appeal to a different generation with a different comedy sensibility, with a different like zip they want in their sci-fi that I feel like I want. I mean, I constantly go back to that freaking joke about J.J. Abrams' Star Trek way back in 2009 when the Onion put out the headline that said like Star Trek fans are annoyed that new J.J. Abrams Star Trek doesn't have 15-minute council table scene.
Yeah.
I was like, I am that guy. Like, I am at my core, I am that guy, and it is both embarrassing because the Onion's got me. It got me. It's almost as embarrassing when SNL did that skit about New Balances and how they were for like non-athletic men who wanted to wear athletic shoes or whatever. Like, they did this whole skit, and I was like, I wear New Balances. I wear like exclusively New Balances.
I used to wear New Balance. They're comfortable.
Well, the reason I wear New Balances, I have wide feet. They're the only store that has wides. The only store, and they have not just wides. They have wides, double wides, triple wides, and I have like what call it 4E feet.
Yeah,
they're just like my feet. My feet look like a freaking a duck's feet. They're like triangle shaped.
Yeah.
So like they're the only store I can go where like they always have my size. Every other store, it's like I'll go there and they'll have hundreds of shoes and like one in the store will be wide, and I'm like, and it doesn't even fit me. I can never find my size.
Yeah, you have like tall feet too. You have like the Fred Flintstone tall.
Yeah,
feet.
I think that's why. I think that's why the wides, because it's just more fabric to go over the top too. Yeah,
mine are flat but wide.
Yeah,
I also need the wide.
Yeah, the wides. But, so I go get New Balances. That's the only place I go. Love them. Yeah, love them. And then literally after I learned that and started wearing New Balances, SNL put out that skit and it really roasted me good. And I feel like that Onion headline did the same.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a great video. It was a video.
Oh yeah, it's
fantastic. You know, my favorite part of that is like the lady that's like, the original Star Trek was invented by this hack named Gene Roddenberry from the 1940s or something.
There was a line in the episode, just to getting back to this episode, where he says it's quieter. Keeping so busy is quieter than being in my head.
Yeah.
And I feel like the episode needs to learn the lesson. The show needs to learn the lesson that Pike is learning. Like, sometimes you need to be quiet. Sometimes you need to have like reflective episodes. And it's like ever. But like it just feels like that. So many episodes I feel that way about. I'm like, they did a cool sci-fi thing, and they didn't take time to like think about the implications of it at all. They just sort of, or they made the decision without thinking about it, or whatever. Like in this episode, You said we got some feedback, and I know we're running low on time. So you want to jump into that?
Yeah. Let's get to Stu Little. It says, "Hello, how are we, gents? It's good to be back with the Star Trek show, and knowing we'll get a break from planet Earth for a while after the last Star Trek series was so focused on it." He says, "Yeah, Anson Mount, we get it. You played a cowboy in Hell on Wheels, so you can ride a horse, or mount, if you will. Hey, did you know his full name is Anson Mount IV? But his father is Anson Mount II. And it's his older brother from a previous marriage, who is Anson Mount III. The search for hair gel?" Stu getting back a little rusty. Coming back a little rusty.
No, that was great.
Stu says, "The horses weren't beamed up with them. So what? Did they just leave these poor animals in the middle of nowhere to die of thirst, starvation, and predators? That's cold. Yes, they did."
I was thinking the exact same thing.
They probably they can't beam them to the transporter room. They probably beamed them to like a stable or some shit on the Enterprise.
Yeah, or let them hang out in the buffers for that matter. But like, I just thought it was I was wondering if those horses stayed on that planet. Like, they might have been from that planet, and they were running around on this planet on these horses, and those horses were supposed to stay. I wasn't sure. And then I thought the same thing that Stu's thinking, though, is like, what are you going to do with those horses? Are you just going to leave them sitting there by themselves?
Yeah. Had it been Rick and Morty, right before they beamed up, you would have seen them inject the horses, and they would have like dissolved into a goo.
Yes, absolutely.
The synthetic horses. They don't feel pain, right? Oh, they feel it. No.
They feel it, but it's not real pain. They're not real horses. It's synthetic pain. How is synthetic paint different than real paint? Don't ask these questions. Don't overthink it. It's what was supposed to happen. Don't overthink it.
See, I was going to say Pike just keeps his horses in the cargo hold and they stay there for so long they forget they were horses. Firefly reference.
Yeah. I do. I like it.
Stu says, "Oh, you rave about the promotion now, April, but wait till the job ages you horribly and turns you white somehow."
What happened to you, Robert T. April? Terrible transporter accident.
I'm white, and my hair is white, and I sound like William Shatner.
I've been turned Caucasian down to my very DNA.
Oh, man. Stu says, why do you think they did away with the cool away mission leather jackets by the time of the original series? They'll probably mention it, and it'll probably be some asshole trying to spite Ortega, who likes the away mission jackets. It'll be something stupid. Like every little difference. Like, just don't fucking mention the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mention that it's different or why it has to. It's stupid. Y'all always come up with something stupid. The Laanding party is pretty reckless for one made up entirely of characters with unconfirmed franchise futures. I do like that.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
They should do something with that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like
kill
an entire,
Ortegas.
Just kill all of them. Just have all of them go to the last episode. They're all sitting down to a planet to do their like an away mission with just people who aren't on the original series.
They did it with Hemmer in season 1, and they did it fucking beautifully.
Yeah, they did. It'd just be funny if it was like 8 of them.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
I like Una. Let her stay. Let her stay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. The strange new world in this case is Earth. I need a drink. This is what I get for wishing for a time travel episode that doesn't just go to present day. Here's hoping the Voth from Voyager at least show up. Now, I didn't mention, and Stu will be annoyed with me for this already. He's annoyed, I'm sure. He did call this email Strange Old World.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Stu continues, at least they won't make the long-eared species some sort of evolutionary ancestors of the Vulcans, right? Right? I mean, they did, kind of.
Yeah, they maybe.
They didn't confirm, but I thought that's what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Stu says, getting into a gunfight with a T-Rex is yet another example why Christina Chong would make a great Lara Croft. I would maybe agree if I cared anything about Tomb Raider. By the way, I was annoyed that they did the thing. They did the thing that I think Land of the Lost did it, and they did it on Doctor Who, where it's they keep calling the T-Rex a he, and then it's she.
Yeah.
The T-Rex is a she, and I'm like, one, how do you know that? And why is this such a trope? Who the fuck cares? It's a fucking T-Rex.
Listen,
shoot it and move the fuck on.
I do not really mind the whole the future is female idea, but the idea that the past is female too. See,
it's just a weird trope that's throughout everything.
It is a weird trope. I totally agree.
I'm not like an MCU guy over here crying about that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's such a weird thing. I'm like, I guess fucking Una did pop up from a precarious position.
Yeah, she was down below it. I thought that was the whole joke, but I agree with you. It's weird that it's in multiple franchises.
Yeah, it's weird. Spock being surprisingly unconcerned with Pike trying to resolve this war in the distant past. What about the temporal prime directive? Do they have that yet?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm sure they mentioned it in one of those in the Discovery episodes. If they did with some of the time travel they did, I don't know. I don't remember.
No, and importantly, it doesn't matter because temporal wars.
It's true. Nothing matters.
Star Trek has turned into some Douglas Adams shit, huh? Some fucking Salmon of Doubt shit, man. Stu says, between this and DC Comics, what's with the Martians being able to phase through stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Martians always phase through shit.
Yeah. They should have mentioned being manhunters. Would be good.
They're spider hunters.
Yeah.
Stu says, La'an just punched a dinosaur in the face. Now I really hope she doesn't die, and that is so traumatic that Spock does some Vulcan memory wipe to heal from it. That explains why meeting Khan doesn't trigger recollections of her in Space Seed. That timeline's gone, Stu.
Yep, seems like it.
Nothing matters. It's all gone. Stu says this would be a good time for Pike to tell Cassell about the Xindi and how they killed millions on Earth with their attack. And some of the Xindi were insectoid too. Oh wait, the Doldrum are arachnid. Totally different situation. Sorry for such a stupid comment. Quote, pegging the red line, sir. Phrasing. Destroying a planet with antimatter so quickly destroying a planet with antimatter so quickly sure makes red matter seem redundant now, doesn't it? Dude, I thought that shit too, man. I was like,
red matter does it with like one drop or some shit. Like it's like one drop of red matter destroys. At least the antimatter took a whole ship's worth of fuel, the main fuel cell or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a small planet.
Kurtzman really likes to see a planet, fucking implode. Quote, she just wanted to save her people. I would have done the same thing. End quote. Stu says, yeesh. It's kind of hard not to think about what I know about Anson Mount's views on Gaza with that line.
Oof. I don't know anything about Anson Mount's views on Gaza, but not good.
It's what you'd think now.
Yeah, that's not good.
I told you last year. I told you last season.
I don't remember. But that sucks. I found that line stupid on multiple fronts. Like, no, you wouldn't have. Like, the whole point of your character in the situation is he's convincing her not to do it.
Yeah.
He's like telling her that, no, you need to try to communicate. You are a different person of a different time, of a different species, with different morals and values. Like, no, you wouldn't have. Like, yes, you would have also tried to protect your people. And maybe if push comes to shove, you'd do a thing. And you did allow this to happen. But, like, in her scenario, you would have done different things, as you expressed this entire episode. And then to go, I would have done the same thing. It's like, well, then what were you talking to her about? Why didn't you just give her the antimatter?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Pike says, but I had no data. Stu says, I don't think a positronic brain would have been much help in this case. Stu says, okay, we just had an episode focused on revealing the origin of the human species was dependent on the Enterprise being involved in a bootstrap paradox involving a spatial anomaly that not only sent them back in time millions of years, but also just so happened to cast them all the way back across space to our solar system. Is this not the ultimate Earth is the center of everything example in this franchise?
Yeah,
they shouldn't have come out on Earth. Other than that, was pretty good, though the possible real-world comparisons to the conflict presented are hard for me to not think of, especially since the Martians were treated so sympathetically even when they were committing genocide, while the Doldrum were unnuanced monsters who even Mbinga was saying had to be wiped out to save other species, though he is a murderer who got away with it. So maybe I shouldn't be surprised. One other thing that bothered me a bit was this with the first episode with significant shared screen time with Ortega's and Lon since last season's Terrarium, the episode which ended with Lon killing Ortega's girlfriend. There is no indication of any lingering tension between them over this, which is fair enough. This episode may not have been the time and the place for it, but the writers didn't need to put them both on this mission. Instead, Ortega's has a running thing of being annoyed at Scotty for doing his job too diligently. You may fly the ship, but he keeps it going, you Lego-haired looking asshole. It's season 4. Try a new hairstyle already. Take care.
One thing he pointed out about the how all the bugs needed to die. Really, it makes me annoyed they made them an arachnid species, because it really feels like the show, which is supposed to be above this, like the whole point of Star Trek, seeking out new life, new civilizations that is different from ours, was like, well, we know they're going to be genocided at the end to save our timeline. We better not make them too cuddly.
Yeah.
Like if they'd been a hamster people, this would have been a different episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had been humanoid, it's like if they had been like, well, we'll make them humanoid, but we won't give them any ability to or screen time to plead their case. And also, they're disabled.
They're disabled?
It's like if they had made them humanoid but disabled. Because traditionally in old stuff, whenever you have a villain, you give them some disability because disabled people are evil. It was like that old school thing.
I gotcha.
So in this case, it's like, oh, they're monsters.
Yeah, I gotcha. That is like an othering item. I understand talking about all of Bond's villains always have some sort of like problem with some body part that make it otherizes them. I gotcha. I was like, I thought you were saying these creatures were disabled. And I was like, I don't remember that. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we gotta go. Thank you, Stu, for writing in. That was great. I'm sorry we can't comment on it further. I do have a meeting that started 7 minutes ago. Woo!
Wow.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with Star Trek Universe Podcast. Join us for more. Like we'll be here this whole season, dropping episodes. Peace. Joel on True
and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.